At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop prints that pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
This episode replay is one that I did back in 2021, and it is about something that I have seen with every single woman I have ever worked with, either in my group program and the cycle or one-on-ones, and it's the one thing that keeps them stuck in the cycle. It's the one thing that keeps women feeling trapped and unable to make a decision from a clear place about whether or not their relationship is bad enough to leave. And it is the switch, the quick switch, I called it in this episode, of their behavior and the sudden niceties. And this was based on a coaching call I did in the program back then. And it was literally an instance of, things were not going well. I'm talking about divorce. The next thing he's like, let's go on a vacation. It's that constant, just like the push and the pull and the up and the down, and it's good and it's bad and it's extremes. There's no consistency. It's always the extreme high and extreme low. There's not a lot of that consistency just reverberating through the relationship. This consistent calm with some little blips here and there. There is no intense love bombing and intense gestures. And I've heard women say to me, I don't even like wearing any of my jewelry anymore because they're all linked to something he did wrong and gave me jewelry for. Or the only time that you would receive flowers was for making up when something had happened. And a lot of times this is the thing. It's like all the nice gestures and things that they do in the duration of the relationship, a lot of times are to try to smooth over something that they have done. So there's a negative association to all of these things. And you have learned that that's how they quote unquote show love, is through buying you things or doing big grand gestures. Okay, because they don't have the tools or skills or desire to show up in other ways to bring other things to the relationship aside from spending money or buying things that look flashy, that look nice. And I think if you were in a situation where you had a partner that was nothing but nasty all the time, raging all the time, treating you horribly all the time, there was no reprieve, there was no shred of anything good, then I think it would be a lot easier to walk away from these things. But it's because of this constant push, pull, up, down. Then you think, well, they're capable of this, so I just need to hang in there so that I can see if more of this shows up. And I've heard women say, I'm afraid to walk away because what if it's me? And he goes on to meet someone else and that woman gets all the good stuff I've worked so hard to try and get. And she just gets all the good stuff. This is the mind trip that these manipulators do, that they have this effect on making you feel crazy and keeping you off balance. And this is very much conducive to a personality disorder when it is across the board. You're seeing this with their work life, their family life. They're not getting along with anyone. They're not consistent parenting. They're always in some kind of falling out with someone, but it's never their fault. It's always the other person was the asshole or the bitch or the crazy maker or the crazy woman. It's never their fault. So I'm going to play this episode for you right now so that you can get a really good idea of what this manipulation tactic is all about so that you can spot it when it's happening in your relationship. All right, let's play that episode now.
Hey there, I just wanted to talk to you quick about something that came up in our coaching call I just did for End the Cycle Ladies. That is my program. Is this whole dynamic where you are trying to explain to your partner the severity of the situation, maybe for the 100th time you're saying, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm going to want a divorce, I'm going to want to separate. You're leaning in that direction and giving him all of this intel as to like, I'm done, like I'm done with this. But because the tactics have worked for so long, for some women 20, 25 or more years, they've learned that every time you say that, they know how to manipulate and hook you back into the fold. They know exactly the right things to say, the ways to get you questioning your decision and wondering if maybe it's not that bad, or maybe that you can actually make it work, that he's not a bad person and all of this. And so they know exactly what to say and how to say it. They know what to do to pull you back into it for a time, only to find that you're right back again saying, I want a divorce. I'm not happy. This isn't working. And then what happens with this, and this is like the hugest mindfuck of all, is that they will actually act as if nothing happened even an hour later after that conversation. Or the next day, they're just acting like all is well. There's no problems. Hey, you want to go to Hawaii for vacation? Should we do this? Should we do that? Should we plant a tree? Should we whatever to the house? And you're like, dude, I just talked to you yesterday that I'm like on the edge here of looking for a way to leave this relationship. Like, I'm done. And here you are trying to divert my attention to something so trivial that just, and it's just kind of this mind game. But if you look at it in the past, you will see that this has worked. You'll see that this has happened time and time and time again. This is how they feed you into, or kind of manipulate you back into that feeling that you want of like, oh, it's going to be okay. We do have a normal relationship. Oh, things are going to be okay. Yeah, let's do that vacation. Maybe that's what we need. Or yeah, maybe let's do that project in the house. Yeah, that's great. This is how we can feel like things are normal again. But this is how they catch you. And the thing to remember about narcissistic men is that they, or even just abusive men likely, is that they are able to compartmentalize. They are able to do something horrific, say something horrible, you tell them or call them on it, and they're able to just brush it aside and not really give it much of a thought after that. And I think even to the degree where they forget, maybe they just have to like cast it away out of their mind. Meanwhile, the damage that's being done, you're sitting there reeling on for 2-3 days, sometimes months later, when you have those recalls or those memories or flashbacks. So this speaks to the dynamic of like what's going on in their psychology, but we're never here to really figure out the psychology of a narcissistic person. It just helps to understand, well, why do they do this? I also see this quick switch as a form of gaslighting, that you're basically saying, I'm not happy, this isn't working, I don't want to be with you anymore, or I'm not sure what I want anymore, or let's talk about what this looks like to separate.
If you want some help getting clarity on what the next steps are in your relationship, but whether you should stay and keep trying to work with your partner, or if it might be time to start taking some steps toward walking away, my program End the Cycle is opening for enrollment very soon, and we are opening at a very special price that I have not offered before for what is included in this new 3.0 version. You're going to get bonuses, new additions, and improvements, as well as access to me and coaching calls with the group of women to help you implement and put the work into practice. You will have support every step of the way as you implement the process that I have guided countless women through over the past 6 years in my custom program that really leans toward helping you overcome the cycles of narcissistic abuse if you're experiencing this in your relationship. You will have customized help to get that clarity no matter what stage you are in this process, whether you're not sure if you should stay or go, or if you're pretty much leaning toward that and you need help with the how. Program will guide you through no matter where you are right now. To get on the waitlist, head to leanneoten.com/ETC waitlist, or head to the episode show notes to click on the link.
And then maybe they hook you back in to the point where you're like, okay, let's get a little bit more time, or maybe you end that conversation for a little while, or you go your own ways if it gets too heated. I don't know. Whatever it happens, you kind of like separate your ways, and then he comes along and he's acting like nothing ever happened, like everything's hunky-dory. Hey, what do you want for dinner? Do you want to do this project in the house? Do you want to fly off for a vacation? That makes you kind of shake your head and you're like, wait, what? Like, what's going on here? And I had a counselor say something to me that literally blew my mind, and it's stuck with me ever since. The Titanic is going down and he's rearranging the deck furniture. This is the perfect way to explain what these men, these personalities, this is what they do. You're saying this ship is going down, like our marriage, our family's breaking up, and you're asking if I want to go to Hawaii instead of doing the actual work to fix what you've broke. So I just wanted to share this because it was fresh on my mind, and I'm in my car. I've been doing a lot of recording in my car lately. I've had my girls home a lot more lately from school, and I also am really leaning into my own personality and how my brain works. Is sometimes I process and then I want to share right away, and I don't always want to go and start up my mic and go down into my office and all that. So sometimes I record episodes right from my car. So I'm parked in a parking lot. I'm about to go into the store, and I wanted to share this because I was really just processing this from the call that we had today with the ETC ladies. And I know that the women that are experiencing this, that are in my program, they're not alone, that this is a common dynamic, very common, of that quick switch, of that everything's fine, all is well. You want to go to Hawaii, when the day before you were just talking about the divorce or the possibility of divorce. And they're not actually doing anything about that. They're just trying to brush it all under the rug. And, as they probably say, move forward. So I hope this offers you a little bit of insight and validation into this dynamic and this pattern. And the one thing you can do about this is to not fall for it. Don't get hooked back in with this nicety stuff, and stand in your truth that, no, we're not going to Hawaii. I just talked to you about these things that need to change, and you're not doing anything about it. So this is what I'm going to do about it. So this is a whole other topic of boundaries and how to really assert those within the relationship. But just don't fall for it. Stay awake, stay aware, and I will chat with you again in the next episode. Bye for now.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot. We charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.